other than.
I know what she's saying about
And I also have I have a question. How are you coming to a number on the amount of hours that, for public works? I mean, Mr. Wagner, you're 40 hours?
Yes, as of now, since Brian.
Is that a hypothetical number that you're coming up with 24? Should it be 32? Should it be 18?
Aaron and I are
16?
gonna be having a lot of discussions on this, Jim, honestly. I mean, I wanna work together with Aaron on this. I don't wanna just simply make a unilateral decision. There's a committee that will be working together.
If there's a need for 32, I say let's do it. If there's a need for 16, let's do it. If there's not a need for 32, then why would we put a 32 number on it?
The issue is there's so many jobs that are required to have more than one person.
And they can be set up for certain days.
That's exactly.
That's what we're gonna work on, seeing how often we're gonna need that second person, and then we'll figure out the hours. We're gonna get together with John and see
Yeah.
what tasks
That's the way
required
it should be
to, how often does he do it, and then we'll place the ad for X amount of hours.
Perfect.
We'll figure
That's
that
it.
out.
In the past, it's been around 24 hours a week for that person to be able
If there's a need, yes, let's
to
do
get
it.
the need. And you could, like I said, you could structure that in 4 6-hour days, or 8-hour days, any way you want to do it.
Or
as
maybe
far as-
2 8-hour days.
What's that?
Or maybe 2 8-hour days.
Well, that doesn't add up to 24.
24 is not a magical number. You gotta strive for it. Okay. We'll
right,
Jim, you have anything else? We'll work a
Thank
plan
you.
out.
Say that, Jim?
Thank you, thank you, Jim.
Donna?
Hi, Donna Lee, First Avenue. I have a lot of things to say, but probably not here. First of all, your gravel roads, I feel bad if you have a gravel driveway and every time it's plowed, my gravel goes up and I have to get someone to plow it down. So I understand your problem. My road, not so much because we had it stoned. But I don't know what you call it. Asphalt, is that what it's called?
You have asphalt.
Perfect. To you all, Robert's Rules of Orders. I want you all to go to school, learn it. I felt like I was now in a work meeting. Robert's Rules of Orders, you did not follow tonight. I do not really go to these meetings. I'm on the planning board. We follow Robert's Rules of Orders. I don't get paid. You guys get paid. Learn Robert's Rules of Order. Stop asking people to speak when you do not open it up to speak. Follow this, learn Robert's Rules of Orders, and then I'll be happy there. As far as getting your cats and dogs vaccinated, I pay for mine. People here want to have it free. Figure it out, do it. Voting, I vote for free. People who do the polls for free, they don't. They want to get paid to do the polls for free. I volunteer, and I will get a lot of my friends to volunteer to run the polls so you don't have to pay anyone. I don't understand. We don't pay to vote. Why do you pay people to watch people vote? I don't understand that either, but you do. So I'm just saying, get Robert's Rules of Orders down to order, and then I'll be happy as long as we follow the rules. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Lee. Mrs. Pogue?
I checked the minutes for Wackel, and at no time did Wackel vote to take care of that field over there in any capacity. We gave up the $7,000 that the city was giving us for the insurance for the kids, and at no time did we say, we'll take care of the field. Never did happen. So whatever you all discuss up there or think you discussed, we never agreed to that, never voted on it, discussed it, nothing.
There was a soccer field committee that met.
That don't matter.
Okay, well, it does
It's
matter.
at a Wackel meeting. If you have meetings with people, it doesn't matter. We're not going to do it. And you mentioned about insurance and liability. We're not going to go over there and what equipment you going to use and insurance and no, we're not getting involved in that at all.
Thank you.
Don't
Mrs. Miller?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure, I understand it as well about the gravel road and doing certain things with the city. Do we have enough manpower in public works to do everything that we see going in the city? Want to put that out there. And the city was working on a use of facilities form for using the facilities, correct? For inside the city hall and using the fields?
For the fields, yes. I'm
Sure,
not
they
I'm not
were
aware.
at some point.
I'm not aware of this building for other uses. Field, yes.
The field, yes, I mean, obviously, but the building, as well. I just think it's kind of a shame that we're not using the building for meetings, especially when it was supposed to be about the city and getting the city together, and I know that you and some other people were involved at one point in that meeting. It'd be nice to have your presence still. And just a quick question, when is the porta potties going to be available again? I don't remember when they are put back onto the fields.
They're usually here by mid-April.
Mid-April. Okay.
When is the, team's gonna start meeting?
Well,
we had-
because Wackel's starting practices and people are already questioning,
Yeah.
literally just this week.
We can make that
So,
phone call.
We were
Yeah,
there
okay.
tonight and there was none, so we need them, like, for next
if that's
week.
at all possible, just for the families and the kids especially.
'Cause we have a number of females that can't just find a trick.
So I'm gonna bring it up soon.
Right, so we need something, we were there this evening, I came from there. and
John
we were
texted
trying to
me,
find
he's
it.
like, can you say something?
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Aaron, do you remember the, name of the company we used, so we can call them like ASAP?
I have no idea.
Anybody remember the name of the company we used?
Yes.
Caprati?
Caprioni.
Caprioni.
C-A-P.
Clerk has a number and the contact person.
We'll, have them ordered ASAP.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lou.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the public? Reed?
Yeah, a few things. Any update on Conrail with the railroad crossing closings?
Haven't heard a word.
You haven't heard a word? Okay.
Haven't seen any correspondence
Okay,
in my mail here yet.
all right. If I'm understanding it, there wasn't a change made to the personnel committee, correct?
Personnel, no, personnel will stay Lawrence and myself.
Okay.
Public Works will be Joe and myself.
Okay, because with things like the statement that was made about actions by volunteers with the fire company last month, with allegations that were made about conflicts of interest regarding a professional certified employee, we're going back to where we were. And we're going to wind up with the same types of results, and that's going to be very bad. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll be happy to enlighten you, but I only get 5 minutes, so I'll have to do that with you later. I would be concerned regarding the interpretation that's being given on the authority to make the risk management consultant appointment, because what in essence that means is if the appointing authority is intransigent, then they're being rewarded for their intransigence.
I
Right,
have no idea what you're talking about. What's that?
obviously.
If the person who's making the appointment says they will only appoint one person, and then that creates an emergency. And then the interpretation is, well, forget about approval of the contract, and I don't know what that means about payment of the bill, because that's supposed to come from council. Then
Don't pay it.
it's a self-created emergency that is then solved with a unprecedented extension of the executive power. We can agree to disagree perhaps, but I'm just lifting that up as where that goes. Regarding the historic sign, just to say that I don't think anyone's opposed to there being a sign, and I think it's unfair and incorrect to try to portray it that way. It's simply a question of the facts that were put there, because as we keep bringing up, there was a sign put at the Risley School that claimed there had been a fire. There never was a fire. And yet some people seem to stick to what is fake news, what is fantasy, what is not reality. And so if you're not confirming the various things that are put on another sign, it would behoove everybody to ask, rather than try to be like, oh, I don't know why that is, oh, someone's being put out of having to go get that, and that's just simply unfair. To another important issue regarding Pacific Avenue, if you have an unspent capital authorization, then you have some resources that can be put toward remedying the situation, both as far as professional fees as well as material, because when you're talking about emergency access, and I would say the same is also true for the other end of South Jersey Avenue, then money is there. Of course, that means that it may need to be replenished, which is where the other issue on why you couldn't go forward tonight comes from. But while you've got it, rather than put someone in a position of having to take unilateral action, not to take care of themselves, but to take care of their neighbor, which is something we should actually, in many ways, be applauding, rather than finding a reason to criticize them. I won't even get into the fact that we're only about 10 days after Good Friday and Easter. That's a whole other, I won't even go to those illusions on this. But just the thing of just it's common courtesy, and let's try to be better together. So let's not try to hang someone out to dry because they took steps to help for what is for their neighbor, when we've got, the city has other funds, and when you have another resident who's explaining that she had a similar situation before, then those things hopefully would be addressed, again, rather than try to figure out how we can get someone in trouble, as opposed to let's figure out what we need to do to get the approvals and get it taken care of and get it remedied. Unless you're going to turn around, vacate the street, and tell people, forget it, we're never going to do anything, which I don't think is a viable way to go. So I'm hoping we can resolve that. What was the bill number on the interstate, on the internet gambling?
Was
42, 2018,
43, 2018.
43, excuse me.
43, there's only 4 digits to a bill number. I'm talking about, no, I'm talking about not the resolution number. What was the actual bill?
What was that now?
What was the assembly bill number's not listed on the title of the resolution, so I was curious which bill it was that was covered on resolution 43.
What is that, the racetrack?
Yeah,
A773.
okay. Yeah, because that one's going nowhere. Okay.
One more thing.
Yes.
I don't think I heard anybody say that he was a bad guy for doing what he did. I didn't hear anybody say anything bad against him. I just heard that it needs to be done legally, that's all.
I want to say this for the record. Unfortunately, we have an entity that's out there, it's called Finance Commission.
Right.
And they do levy heavy fines if you don't.
There you go, Jim.
It had nothing to do with, you did a good job as I ride by and I looked at it as well, it looks pretty decent. But the problem is, you didn't get any approvals from the finance. And if they come back and say, hey, how did this go get repaired with millings? Did you authorize that? I mean, it's gotta be brought out that we did not authorize this. It's very, very unfortunate, but that's the way the finance operates. I had this conversation with the attorney, I had a conversation with the engineer.
They're pretty good with it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. You can contact them and say, listen, I had to do this. It was
All in how you said it.
exactly.
Yeah.
We'll get it taken care of. Yeah.
I'm sure
So you go in there like some
please have
bear.
many times when somebody's speeding, why they're going fast.
Oh.
The law is the law.
Oh,
One other quick thing since you asked about it.
Quick, Creep, because you already
Yeah,
had like
our-
5 minutes.
I'm sorry. Thanks. But for Community Day, is that new policy only going to affect the liability for inside versus the liability for outside? Or is this really just geared at one particular group,
It's a city-sponsored function.
which is having other people come and other people come to present? So it's not a city group that's doing it. It just sounds rather peculiar that after there had been a meeting on Tuesday that I think went rather well, and I don't know what some people may think they heard, but actually there wasn't a whole bunch of taking anybody's name in vain, that therefore the next action is thou shalt not. I mean, fortunately, other arrangements have already been made for the next meeting anyway, but it just seems unfortunately small and petty. But that's,
Excuse
is
me,
what it is.
Are we still open to the public?
Being spoken to the public, yes. And you
Can-
haven't-
can I
you haven't
say
spoken yet,
something?
so go ahead.
At our very first meeting, this nice lady said, I don't want to drive to Mays Landing. And she said, can't we be closer? And at that very first meeting, we talked about coming here. I don't know who heard what, I don't want to get into that. And I thought it was nice, it was very kind. But I understand what you're saying. I don't have a problem with what you're saying. I appreciate your concerns. So I'm not making, I appreciate it. We just wanted to honor that nice lady who said, I don't think the community wants to drive to Mays Landing, and I thought that was very true.
Maybe it could be held at somebody's house.
Pardon?
Maybe it could be held at somebody's house.
Well, we have a solution, and I understand that the Risley School is a place that is supposed to be used for meetings. But I just want the community to come together, and I sure don't want that little quirk to be an issue, because it is complicated if somebody has to open the building, and we just wanted a place to meet so we didn't drive to Mays Landing. And I appreciated that we could do it the one time. I believe everybody that was discussed at that first meeting, and I'm a little confused about the email point, but I think we talked about it as an idea at the first meeting.
We did.
And I appreciate it, and I just want us to come together. This has got to, we really can have so much potential, and you, as the mayor, have so much potential to bring this community together that that's all I want. So I'm very comfortable with the points you made. I really appreciate that we will honor that, and I don't have a problem at all, and I appreciate we could do it once.
Thank you, Mrs. Councilman. Final comment, Mrs. Bowman, give you one more chance.
I get the impression that your opinion is people should get permission before they do something. Is that correct?
I'm not exactly sure, just,
I think you need to think of yourself
thank you, Mrs.
and what you've done without permission.
Thank you, Mrs. Sprague. I said I was gonna take the final comment, I don't wanna make it such.
All right, it's just about the road.
You better for him.
Go ahead, this is the final comment.
I don't wanna beat a dead horse to death, but I don't wanna have to come back every meeting. So maybe we should talk to the engineer about the dirt roads, you know? Yeah, the crowning, the engineer.
I don't think we need to talk to an engineer, somebody that
I'm
does that
just
for a
saying,
living.
it seems like, you know, you bring it up and then nothing happens.
Aaron and I are gonna discuss this, but we're gonna go out and get a contractor to take care of all the, dirt roads. So they're done properly, so we got gravel to do it, so whatever it's gonna take, we're gonna take care of
They
it.
understand.
That's on the list. And by the way, thank you guys for taking here.
Yeah.
They've been taking care of it for 17 years.
Pinelands is just not a department that needs to deal with. Trust me, we're the worst of the worst. When you step on their authority, then they want to try to show how much. Let's clear it out. Motion to close the public portion.
Make that motion. Right.
Is there a second?
Okay, a closed session.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? We're not adjourned, we're gonna go into closed session, so,
For what purpose? Well, the maintenance foreman or something else? Will there be action taken after?